This was, if you think about because of moving the inauguration indoors, this was the opportunity for his people, and tens of thousands or more people, hundreds of thousands, traveled from all over the country to Washington, D.C. They wanted to see Donald Trump, and tonight they got to see him in rally form. It's going to be interesting tomorrow to watch how his inaugural address is different than this speech. Probably not very different in substance. I think you're going to probably see a little bit more of a nod towards unity, a little bit more of saying that he wants to focus on all Americans. That's sort of the tenor that we've heard from him. And we've seen in times past, at those moments, him sort of move more towards President for all America than specifically the red meat for the base that we saw today.
And Leland, we saw him bring up TikTok fairly early. And of course, we know it did go dark for about 12 hours overnight. It is back up now. The app very directly attributing the return to Trump. We heard him bring this up in his speech. Let's take a listen.
TikTok is back. And we hired this guy, and I went on TikTok. Can you believe what I'll do to win an election? And we went on TikTok, and Republicans have never won the young vote, the youth vote. They win a lot of votes, but they never won the youth vote. We won the youth vote by 36 points. So I like TikTok. I like it.
Yeah, so Leland, Trump acknowledging how the app helped him gain some votes there. And on Truth Social today, Trump saying the U.S. should have 50% ownership. Leland, does 50% ownership solve the national security issues that he was very concerned about during his first term?
No, it doesn't, unless with that 50% comes an agreement that the algorithm that drives TikTok content and that allows the Chinese to drive content into the United States and onto the phones of 170 million Americans is either publicly disclosed, or the 50% ownership of the United States gets to control the algorithm. That would be one thing. And two, whether or not the data goes back to China or not. The devil here is all going to be in the details. And I think we're already seeing an interesting divide. There's among, Tom Cotton, Pete Ricketts, two very influential senators who are very, very MAGA, if you will, saying effectively that's not enough. There needs to be a satisfaction of the law. It was the bipartisan law that was passed that made TikTok go dark after 270 days that China had the opportunity to sell. So, look, we've always said this. Presidents do not get to decide what defines their presidency, right? And we're watching in real time that happen. Donald Trump wanted his first 100 days to be defined by the border and the economy. And as you saw, sort of some cultural issues, transgender people in sports, on and on and on, wokeness in the military, DEI. Already, even before he's become president, the beginning days of his presidency is now going to be defined by TikTok. So for the best laid plans of Stephen Miller and others, there's going to be a whole stack of executive orders tomorrow for President Trump to sign. But boy, he's going to also already have to be dealing with other issues.
So Leland, who wins this fight? And we have the Cotton X post up there. Who wins this fight between Cotton and Trump?
For 10 years, the political press has been betting against Donald Trump, and they have lost that bet over and over and over and over again. And I know you're going to preview it, Natasha, coming up, but I'll steal the line. Coming up later tonight, I sit down with Bill O'Reilly for the United States of Trump, and Bill sort of takes us and peels back the layers of Donald Trump's personality and gives us a very interesting look at a complex man. And what we distill in that hour, and I think it's fascinating to look at, is Trump always wins. And he finds a way to always win. And I think that's what we're watching now in real time, him sort of figuring out how to win on TikTok.
Yeah, and Leland, we also got a taste of whether Trump would space out executive orders over weeks, or if there will be a sweep of them on day one. I can already tell you could have forecast this for us a long time ago. Let's listen to what Trump had to say.
We're going to do a lot of things. You're going to see something tomorrow. You're going to see executive orders that are going to make you extremely happy. Lots of them. Lots of them.
Yeah, lots of them. And NewsNation reporting tonight that Trump is expected to sign a record number of executive orders on day one. So, Leland, what's at the top of the list? What are you expecting we're going to see first?
Immigration, number one, by far, in dealing with not only what happens at the border, but this idea of beginning mass deportations. That would be number one in changing those regulations. And then number two, a lot having to do with climate, government spending, DEI, wokeness, maybe some changes in terms of guidance to the Department of Education. It's a whole slew. Donald Trump loves round numbers. You'd be thinking, what would be the biggest number he could get to? What would be bigger than anything else? 100, right? Because every other president's done double digits. He could do triple digits. So
thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.